Alright, so let's continue from where we left off. Analyzing some more trades and entry models that we can have on EURUSD. So we basically got that. So let's wait, because we got a setup for London. Let's wait for next session, which basically is New York. So in this case, London did continue to the downside really aggressively. From those areas you could have had a bigger move, but price now created a new low. So you can use the same basically approach. We can wait for a retracement to come in and look at New York for a potential continuation. So we just had New York true open, 4-hour candle closed. You see it closed, and we could look basically at a reversal or a continuation. A reversal because we made a break of suction to the downside and because we are in the session. So what do we want to see? We want to see some, here we had news. So when we have news, very volatile news, and price comes into direction, usually what happens, price will then correct the entire move. So here price made a change of character on the 1 minute. So we had the initial spike down, then the reaction, then price filled the wick. We had the change of character to the upside, and then price came back there. So I would have taken this trade, more aggressive approach, 10 pip stop loss, aiming for a 1 to 2 in your session. But here gave the entry a little bit before the 4-hour close. So a little bit risky to do that, but then you can follow price action basically. So 5 minutes, you have the break of suction on the 5 minute here. So now you can then look for another re-entry. After the break of suction, you have the 1 minute POI here. And then when it comes in, again, you can enter, have a bigger stop loss, aim for 1 to 2, or even go down the seconds. So 5 seconds, basically see the ranges. What do we have here? You have liquidity, price taps in, gives a nice change of character, and see if it does retest. So this is the change of character. Let's see if it does come back to this range. It doesn't, it keeps going up. So probably that would have been a missed trade. Or no, it does come back. So it comes back here again. See, it gives another change of character, and here on the retest probably would have entered. So let's keep this 1 minute trade and now see the 5 second trades. So you have the low, then you have the confirmation, another range. Here you basically enter, you cover the low. So let's do 3 pips or 2.5 and see if we get stepped out. Let's see, on the left we have another range inside the POI because we barely touched it. We have another range here and another range here that price can mitigate. So now we can see what price wants to do. Let's watch. You see how first one basically stops you out, then comes back down. So now we can look for more confirmation. Okay, 5 seconds comes there. We have the change of character. Now I'd like to see a small retest coming in, and I would probably enter like this. Let's see. We have the change of character, the V shape. We have this range, but it's a long way to come here. So I'd rather just execute with a bigger stop loss. And let's see what happens. Okay. And then price gives another entry. See how it gives another entry? Because you create a new break of structure here, you create a new range, and then you have the better entry here. So 2 entries, or you can even stack trades. So you can take stack trades. You can stack multiple entries with the same big move. So let's see what happens next. Price plays around a little bit more, plays around the ranges a little bit more. So you see how it did come back here to touch it and then started going up again, but you would have been in those entries, so there was no point in adding any more entries, and let's see what happens. See, you have the don't have a 5-minute break, have 1 minute break of structure, coming back here, doesn't touch it, does come into it, so you see another break of structure on the 1 minute, another retest in that area, so you can take another entry. 5 seconds, you look for the range. What range do you have there? You see this is the 1 minute POI. Your only valid range and entry point where price can come is this one. So where does price go? There. So what does it do here? Change of character, comes back into the range, and that's the entry. Go for 1 to 5. And let's see what happens. So you have basically, if you enter on the 5 second, you have 1, 2, 3 entries running, and all of them get hit at take profit. The bigger stop loss is still running, and it gets hit also. So again, two different approaches: a more aggressive one for active day traders, and one more, let's say, stress-free approach, just entering and waiting for 2R. Let's say you risked 1%, it's 2%. Here that's 0.5, 0.5, 0.5, so 1.5. Again, it's up to you how you want to go for it. I'm just presenting all the possible ways to trade. So let's go over the next day, see what happens. So you see we're coming back towards the high. I'm gonna look for more sells. We check the 4-hour candle, right? 4-hour did create a break of structure. So 4-hour did create a break of structure to the downside here. And it's coming back up again. So we can basically take this, but was invalidated because we had a V shape. So I'd rather just take the bigger move, which is 4-hour. Or in this case, we can use the premium and discount, because price is coming back up again. So we are in the premium area again. We can start looking for more sales basically. So let's see, we have this imbalance here that can be filled, so we're gonna pay attention to that. We have this high that's been taken, we have that New York high which is still being respected. Frankfurt did push. Let's wait for London open, see if we can take Frankfurt high and then have that reversal. Alright, so it's playing around. We should see it take out Asia, Frankfurt high. Okay, it doesn't. So it doesn't. It starts to go down. And then see, basically if I'm looking at this, because we are already 45 minutes into London, I want to look for potential entries. So in this case, we don't really have a lot of clean POIs. We have this one mitigated, this one got mitigated, this one got mitigated. So in this case, when we don't have any clear POI, I'd rather just watch for 1 minute price action. Here it does come near the high, and we have the 1 minute change of character here. So we're gonna remove this because it came higher. We have the 1 minute charge down, and then here it's retesting the area. So a couple ways you can go about this. The safest one is to use a bigger stop loss, because you also have Frankfurt high and you also have the Frankfurt low which wasn't taken. So you know London is gonna head towards one of it. So it can now, because it's coming back up again, it's most likely gonna take this Frankfurt high. So if I enter a trade here, I'm gonna use a lower risk and a bigger stop loss, because I know price can come higher. So I'm gonna use let's say 8 pip stop loss to cover that old high also, and then gonna aim for 1, 2, 2. Perfect. And now if it comes higher, I'm gonna take another entry. So here You see what happens? Price wicks above, comes actually above Frankfurt high with an aggressive bullish candle. So in this case, when we have a big push, a big 1 minute candle, I'm looking to enter directly on the 5 second because I know price just took liquidity and now it may reverse. So let's see what happens here. Waiting for some kind of confirmation. In this case, we took the high here. We didn't really take the low. So I can wait and see what happens. Okay, low being taken. Now, hopefully I do get a retest. Let's see. We have another break of structure. Our basically first trade count goes into profit. Here we touch it, but I think we have to come higher. So here I can take the entry based on the 5 second. I can take another entry basically. And I'm gonna cover the high because there's another range that needs to be mitigated. And here I'm gonna aim for, we have a 4 pip stop loss. I'm gonna aim for same take profit. Actually we're gonna aim for Frankfurt low. So let's say 1 to 3. Let's see how other candles closed. 1 minute created a change of character. You see you have the confirmation. So now, because you don't have a 1 minute POI, you drop down on the seconds and you see a lot more POIs. So here you can, if it comes to the first range, you can take another entry if you have confirmation. So that way you're gonna have 3 entries, but it starts to go down, creates a new break of structure. So now our entry is here. We have another range being formed because we created a new break of structure. So I'm not yet going break even because price may come back quickly to retest. So in case it does that, then I want to eventually be safe with it. But I don't think it's going to come back. So at this point I would rather just go break even because we are already 1 hour past London session. And we do get a break even hit and you see where it comes right back into the range. And what do you have here? If you're paying attention, again, this is why I'm saying 5 second trades, you need to pay attention all the time because it comes to retest multiple times. You have the 5 second range here because we took the high, we took the low here, created a nice change of character, a new range, price tapped in. Let's see what happens. So at this point price really plays around that area. So I'm looking to either exit the trade or just go break even as fast as possible. You see how this just doesn't look good for sellers anymore. So probably we're gonna get stopped out or okay, we're gonna go into profit. So yeah, this is what happens with 5 second ranges. And this is why it's important to have a nice placement. You see it came to this extreme range. So in this particular setup, price basically retested and mitigated all the available ranges. So every range it mitigated, price gave a reaction and then it came back to mitigate the range that was left behind. So that is why it's very important to see 5 second time frame also, because you can see where price can return. So there you had another setup, another change of character, took the high, took the low, coming back into this range, and that was take profit hit. So you see all entries in this case weren't hit with a stop loss, just because we covered every single possible point. This is why we're not going like this and like this, because we will have been stopped out, and then if we weren't paying attention, then we just had to basically stop losses. In this case, because we covered all the highs, price never took our stop loss and just had a third entry, and all positions were basically hit, including this 1 minute one. So again, another setup where all based on preference. You can either watch price action time and time again, just keep watching the charts and enter using all the confirmation. Or you just enter at the first touch, you cover what you need to cover, and then you just let the trade run. You give the trade room to basically trade, and you're never watching it. You basically just wait for take profit or your stop loss to be hit. And that's a good way to trade. Right, and then what happens with New York? Price comes in again. We didn't take Asia low, so that's still a liquidity point. Here it's kind of between. It's not during our trading time, so we're gonna wait. And unfortunately, when we wait, you see it came back to this extreme PY and then dropped. But we now can watch price as is currently near session. So we have this area here. Let's see 1 minute for some confirmation. We have the change of character and the retest. So when you have confirmation in session, but you didn't really quite touch your zone, you can enter early and just use a bigger stop loss. We had a change of character on 1 minute, we had a retest. Let's just enter on the 1 minute, and in this case I can even use 7 pip stop loss, let's say, and aim for 1 to 2. And then we're gonna go down on the seconds to see what entries we have. So in this case we have this range. Price didn't give a change of character. You see it reacted from here and came higher, so most likely we're gonna be, you see a push to the upside or no. So we have the change of character here. So now we can look at the retest basically of this range. See if it comes. Alright, we have another range being formed here. So price comes there. You see how perfect it does. And yeah, if you just same thing as the 1 minute, if you want to enter directly because price is coming aggressive, you just cover the high, which is not a bad stop loss. And then our target, let's say we're targeting the low that we made. So quick 1 to 4. And we have another range here where price can return. So let's watch. You see price retest, so it does give you a chance to enter. Another drop. And here you should basically go break even on all positions. And yeah, let the trade run in case it runs, because 1 minute didn't really break the low. So you need to manage the trade, and in this case, go break even, because unless you're breaking the low, price may turn bullish again, and it does, you see? So that would have been a break-even hit, and basically it does come there. So it's still valid, still a valid setup. Let's watch. So it does come into that area to take liquidity. So it did give, you see, it did give a nice trap here, a nice change of character for smart money traders. But for us, because we knew, even if we executed the trade, we executed it really aggressively and we managed the trade very well. We went break even because we failed to break lower. So now what we want to see, he came into that zone that we wanted, a 1 minute change of character. In this case here, which was taken out with this week. Right? So we took the high, then we took the low with this week. Price is retracing. So I'm going to look on the 5 second. You see 5 second, very, very nice. Here in this case, we do have the same high. So if I enter based on the 5 second, I would rather use a stop loss, like 3 pips, in case it wicks above. See, it wicks above and then dies off. So this is why we used a bigger stop. In this case, it didn't really wick too much above, but it did come above because we had equal highs. We had the same high on the candle, so it did make sense for price to wick the high. And then, yeah, it did come down fast. We don't have any ranges now on the 5 second to retest, so price can just go down. We do have some price action here, so let's say we take another aggressive sell here if you want to stack the entries. And let's see what happens. 5 minutes, still struggling to break the low, so we need to manage the trades more aggressive. I probably wouldn't have taken that trade because we failed to break lower, but now we broke lower, and that would have been another break-even hit. Because we broke lower, we rejected here, you see, and then price started to go up. So another break even. So not all sessions, not all days are clean. Here you see what happens. So price came back up again, and then finally died off towards TP. So this is what happens. Why did it come back? Oh, because it made a 5-minute change of character. So you see, price always returns after a break of structure or a change of character in any time frame. So here we took out this low. 5 minutes, we took out the high, then we made a 5-minute charge, and then price came very aggressively towards the 5-minute candle here. So this is why it's not really the best to enter on the seconds. It's best to just enter on the 5 minute, 1 minute, even 15 minutes, and then just let the trade run. Here it came back into the extreme. And here you can look for 5-second entry because you're in the extreme. When it comes really aggressively into the extreme, you don't have a change of character on the 1 minute to wait. Your change of character on the 1 minute is here. So it's a long way down. So then you can start looking on the 5 seconds there. Because 5 minutes did confirm and it just pulled back. Here creates a range. That's a good entry, or you can wait for the low to be liquidated. This low that created a high, you see it's wicked here, comes right back up, you enter 2.5 pip, target the same low, and then price starts to move bearish and you just look for more stacks. So you have a range here, and then price never comes back, it creates a new low, you create a new range here. So you basically enter here. Because you enter here and you have another range up, you cover the range, so you go 3 pips. Then price creates a new low. You create a new range, this one and then this one. So again you enter here, but you cover both ranges. So let's say same stop loss, 4 pips, 3.9. And then price never retests again. You see how price never comes back. And then you have 3 positions running that all went to take profit, the same target with like 4 break-evens. Or you could have just entered based on the 5 minute when it came back like this. Somewhere around here, let's say. Have a 7 pip stop loss, target of 1 to 2. And same exact thing. You see, every setup has the same thing. It has multiple entries, multiple ways to trade. You can go on the lower time frames depending on your trading style. You can just use the 5 minute or 1 minute. Again, my style is the 5 minute. But you see, a 1 to 2, very clean. You just enter the trade, you place the stop loss, you place the take profit, you set an alert, and then you just wait for the trade to play out. Or if you want to spend time on the charts, you're gonna take how many entries there were. There were 2 here, 4, 5, 6, 7 entries, and you need to manage them really, really well. Otherwise you're gonna get stop losses, and then it's gonna become harder to re-enter, remanage trades, because you're gonna want to make those losses back. So that's why I don't really recommend. But again, as I said, every setup I break down. I will post basically every possible way to enter trade. So I hope these 2 videos, they were almost 1 hour long, both parts. I hope they does help you understand how we use the concepts to take trades. It's very, very simple. If you don't understand yet, just give me a message and I'll add more videos explaining whatever you don't understand. And then we're gonna move towards the last chapter, where we're gonna talk more about funding companies and how I use them to trade and generate some nice profits.